All right, everyone. So there was a title change on Friday Night SmackDown for the Women's Championship, but it was not the one that we thought. So Naomi lost her match against Nia Jax, and Bianca Belair tweeted out this: "Keep your head up, sis. We are so proud of you over here at the Trinity Fatu." So this is the reason we're doing this video is because the storyline now between Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill, who's still out with injury, is going to be coming into focus. We still have no clue who injured Jade Cargill, right? We still don't have a clue about that. Who was responsible for injuring her? What we do know is Bianca Belair was pretty quick now to have Naomi take the championship, right? The tag team championship. We know that. We know Naomi was more than happy to do that. Since this whole thing with Jade, Naomi got a title shot. I mean, think about that, right? There are so many little things here that point to possibly trouble in paradise, some kind of issue between them. And now you see this, right? You're seeing this kind of bond between Bianca Belair and Naomi. And the question is, can that, is that going to be turned into a feud? That is what I'm going to be interested in, right? Because you think about what happens when if Bianca comes back and they say Naomi was the one who did it. And then all of these pictures we see here, all of these moments, it's going to be betrayal, right? Bianca Belair is going to feel so betrayed by that. Now, we don't know if that's going to be the case. We don't know if that's where we're heading with this. It just feels like WWE is really, 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 really pushing their connection, right? They're really, really pushing this in a big way. So, why they're doing that, whether it's just because, they're friends and tag team champions, whatever, that could be it. Or they could be setting us up for something big. We will have to wait and see. So, thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So Rikishi has not held back on making his thoughts on the Bloodline storylines and all of that stuff known. So on the Off the Top podcast, he said this: "I would like to see Jay run with Jacob. You can imagine, man, run some type of storyline with the werewolf and Jay, and they just really get deep into the storytelling. I'm talking about getting to the hospital and something where you think it's career ending for Jay, and out of nowhere, with working hard and therapy, whatever that is, it's like the Rocky movie coming back. Finally, he gets back. It's it's that WrestleMania moment or Royal Rumble moment, which goes into WrestleMania. Those two, I feel they could have an A+ match, and I think it'll be a great treat for the fans to be able to watch a dream match like this. So this would be cool, what he's saying, this kind of match. But the questions that I have now is that it really seems like what they're doing with the Raw Netflix thing is they're putting a match out there, or I should say the match on Raw's Netflix premiere. They're putting out this match that feels like the end of this storyline as we know it right now, right? So it's being kind of teed up as whoever wins is the new tribal chief. And so if that's the case, then you can't really get a thing between Jay and Jacob Fatu going because at some point these two sides are going to come together. Unless what we see is even Rome, let's say Roman wins and The Rock comes back or somebody ends up taking the role of the head of this kind of new bloodline. Because I think they've set up in a lot of ways. They've set it up it's almost like Solo will become at some point somebody that's on Roman's side again. And this is complete speculation for to be clear. This is complete speculation on my part, but I feel like they're setting it up in a way of even though Solo right now is enemy number one and he's the one who's, and he's the one with the Ulafala, he's the one who's kind of the new tribal chief for his side and coming for Roman Reigns. But I have a feeling that if he loses, because we brought this up in a video a few months ago, Solo, when he's explaining why he's doing what he's doing, he was very clear that he was talking about the fact that Roman Reigns lost. That was a big deal, right? That was the big deal was Roman Reigns losing to Cody Rhodes. And what that means is, and he brought this up even in the segment on SmackDown with Paul Heyman, where he again brings up, if I lose, then I will acknowledge Roman as my tribal chief. So it's almost like an honor thing, right? That's kind of what's being talked about here. It's less of a Solo would never again acknowledge Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. It's just about that loss. And so what happens after this, maybe that's when we could get a match like this because I could see Solo kind of, he has his own guys, and maybe Solo has one way of viewing the Ulafala and, how things go. But then when he loses, maybe these other people they got there, right? The other members of this new bloodline, maybe they say, well, we're not going to follow you to back the Roman. We're going to go with The Rock or someone else, and then you can get a storyline like this. But I do think I would prefer to see it broken out like this instead of doing these six-man matches all the time, which at War Games it was fine because that's literally what the War Games is supposed to be. But I would like to see it kind of broken off, right? You can have you can have Jacob Fatu and Jey Uso having these bloodline matches, right? Even if it's just a one-on-one. I think that would I think that would make some of these, even your everyday Raw or SmackDown show, more interesting because now you're getting these one-on-ones all the time, right? And it's like the best storyline is dominating everything we're talking about. So I cannot wait. I hope they do this or something like this. All right, everyone. So the Golden Globes have confirmed that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is going to be, I guess, one of their presenters. Now, the interesting thing about that is that, well, it's going to be in California. I believe it's in Los Angeles, which is the same place where The Rock could possibly show up to the Raw Netflix premiere. So this is, kind of been going viral now as confirmation that he's going to be there. And I just want to point out, I don't want to spoil anything. So if you don't want spoilers, click out of the video. We'll give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, spoiler. Look, I'm pretty sure The Rock's going to be there. I would be stunned if he's not there. There is no look, it doesn't mean he's going to be back for the full time because we just saw this. I forgot what pay-per-view it was, but WWE, in a report we read backstage, they basically just had him come out and it was almost a nothing burger. It was like there was no long-term storytelling with it. It was just to keep the audience watching him. So to me, if they're willing to do that, then they're willing to do this because the whole point of this Netflix premiere is to just get as much big time stuff in as possible. And a Return of the Rock is something that I just think is a definite, right? I just don't see how it doesn't happen. So this is more evidence of it. He'll be around there. All he has to do is stop in for 10 seconds, say, I'm the final boss, watch the crowd go crazy. Um, I can't wait. It's going to be the Netflix premiere is going to be it's a pay-per-view like atmosphere, but it really does feel almost how do you say this? It's like it really does feel like a new era for WWE. Maybe I don't know if everybody else feels that way, but I personally do. I just cannot wait to watch it because I just know it's almost like one of those things you just know everybody else is going to be watching it and everybody else is going to be watching every second of it, and that makes it even more exciting. So I can't wait. Thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So RVD was asked whether he's still able to wrestle in AEW, and here's what he said. Can I still wrestle in AEW? As far as I know, there's no reason that I know that I can. If there is a reason, then I don't know about it. I don't know that it would be the best move for me right now, but at the same time, money talks, and it's a great motivator when it comes to going to work. So RVD has been on WWE TV. Um, I think he just said he signed a Legends deal. I think we did a video on that a few months ago. He's been on NXT. So I have a feeling he's saying, like, I don't know of any reason I can't. I doubt WWE would be thrilled if he did go on AEW, right? I don't think they would be thrilled about that. I do hope WWE can bring RVD back in the fold in one way or another because I know there was another video we did. This was way back, like near the beginning of the channel, where he was kind of saying, I want to get back in the ring. And, it was like kind of he says, I don't want to beg WWE to, take me back, but I want to be on the show again. And here's like the thing in my brain that I haven't really figured out the answer to yet, but I keep thinking about is there's two things. There's two ways I have of looking at this. So the first thing is we always talk about how one of the things that made the best times in WWE history so great, and we always specifically bring up the Attitude Era, is that it's not about even just the main event, because really through WWE history, they always had good main eventers. Like even during some of the worst times, you still had pretty good main eventers. The true test of a really good time in WWE is when the mid card is stacked, right? So it means like during the Attitude Era, it's like some of those guys that were mid cards during the time of any other time in WWE, they might have been guys that were at the top of the company, right? But you just had this stacked roster of not only great guys, but also great mid carders. And so, why I bring this up for this specific example is because I feel like guys like RVD can help fill out that mid card. But the part that I'm kind of, that you're almost arguing with yourself with is that on the other hand, you know, WWE can't just say, okay, let's make all these legends the mid card because they're trying to build new stars. So yes, I mean, to me, like no matter what, every time you put RVD out there for a cool match, that's going to be more exciting to watch than some of these matches we've seen on SmackDown and Raw that are kind of the filler ones, right? I just think that would be more exciting, and I'd be more wanting to watch that in the short term. But I also understand if you don't give these newer wrestlers time, if you don't just kind of say, okay, we're gonna, this might not be a sure thing, but we need to get this guy some time on screen. I understand completely that they have to do that too. So I don't know 100%, where I'm even coming down on this whole thing. I hope he is back on WWE TV at some point, and I'm gonna start watching a lot more AEW. So I guess I'll see him if he goes there as well. But at the end of the day, I want to see him at WWE. So we will see what happens. Thank you all for watching.
Do you know the thing? So, I think it's only appropriate then. Could you join us in the ring right now? I mean, you know the thing. You want to take it, Jay? You want to count him in? You know the thing? She knows the thing. We're going to do one together. Vanessa right there in the middle. Jim right there. Jay, get right up front here. Sammy back here. All right. We're going to do the thing. We're going to do it on 3. You're going to lead the charge here. Is everybody ready? Is everybody ready? All right.
I got to say, one of my favorite things that I've seen, on social media are these after Raws or after SmackDowns, because it feels like it's one of like the only remnants from a bygone era, having stuff like this. Because the bottom line is like if you go back to the early 2000s, the late 90s, one of the beauties of wrestling, at least for me, and maybe some of you guys were on, still on the like early stage internet or something and in the forums back then too, but I was not personally. And so everything was kind of a shock to me. I didn't know anything about anything as it pertained to the wrestling business. And to be honest, I probably still don't know anything about anything as it pertains to the wrestling business. But when I say I knew nothing, I would never know a spoiler. I I would only know kind of whatever WWE put out in some kind of documentary. That was basically it. And it was only later that I learned about some of the awesome moments that like Stone Cold would have after shows and all of that. And this is another example of that. Is like in a world of mass media, in a world of everything's on camera, everything you get it immediately, the fact that there was something that only the people in this audience got. I know you just watched it, and I know we did get it through people recording it. But the point is that it's not the same as like so SmackDown's off the air, and all these wrestlers are just doing hilarious things in the ring. This is just another example of it. Last week it was Cody Rhodes getting attacked. Like that stuff, somebody in that building saw that live, right? They saw that live with no spoiler, no nothing. Nobody had that on TV besides them. They were the first ones to see that. I just think it's so cool. So I hope this is something that continues. Is I hope after every show, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views, I hope I get to come on this channel and say, we got another one. We got another awesome off the air thing that nobody on TV saw. None of us knew about it until it was published to social media, and I feel like that's just something you don't get that anymore with anything, because as soon as a TV show's out, it's spoiled, and sure, you don't have to go look at the spoilers, but at least the how people are feeling about it, like if it's good, bad, everybody knows about it already, right? Everyone's kind of already getting that. You can't really avoid it. So I thought this was just an awesome, awesome thing. So thank you all for watching.